Hey up everybody, I'm back in sunny Barnsley. I was going to film a vlog in Lowestoft, but I just weren't feeling it and weather forecasts weren't so good. So I'm just going to Asda to get something to eat, and I'm going to do this Q&A because I get loads of questions and I thought I need to do another Q&A. Hopefully it's not too boring for you. I'll try and put some like fancy pictures on and stuff like that to alleviate the boredom. I'd like to thank you all for your questions. I've had so many, and if obviously people are still sending questions now and I'm actually filming it, so if I've missed your question, if you put it underneath this video, I'll do my best to answer it for you. And I've had a lot of sort of similar questions, so I've sort of like paraphrased them and sort of merged them together, and then I've put them into two different categories, like personal life and van life. So another thing I want to say is I want to just thank everybody for all the support you've given me, and like all the comments and everything, and to all my new subscribers. It's just absolutely awesome. I mean, I started this journey sort of the beginning of the year, and I'd have never thought it were going to be like this, and you know, it's my full-time thing now, and it's just so exciting, and the things that we've got coming up, I would have never thought. It's like my mum said to a friend the other day, she says, James is an influencer. Influencer. And only like a few years ago, if ever like you'd have heard out on radio about influencers or on telly, I'd say, bloody influencers my arse, they want to get a proper job. So I was like that, and now I've got my mum going around telling people that her 50-year-old son's an influencer. Bless her. My mum's my #1 fan. And Alec's a #1 fan as well. And Edward. So, hello. Anyway, I'm just going to go in Asda. I'm just here now. I'm just going to go in and get something to eat, and then I'm going to do this Q&A in Asda car park. Because why not? Right. I hope that's not too bright, because it's so sunny, and everywhere I go, sun's shining in. So it might be too bright, that. I've got my glasses because I printed questions off. That's how organised I am. It's a lady just walking past there. So, start with the personal questions. What advice would you give to a 21-year-old you? There's this sort of one version, but I can't really say that on here, but I guess it would be, don't waste your money trying to make yourself look good or trying to keep up with the Joneses, because that's what I did in the past. I was a bit of a poser and I regret it. You need to be frugal, you need to save as much as you can, and don't be in a rush to settle down. That's the only advice I could give my 21-year-old self. Is it reflecting off my glasses? See if I can read this without my glasses. So I'm going to be pulling that face. Right, we get this question all the time. Where's Helen? She's not here. Alright. She's, I don't know how many times I've got to tell you. Helen's got a full-time job and she works incredibly long hours, lots of hours. And she's got 2 kids. I want her on every video. She can't be on every video, but she's on about 50% of them. So you just have to put up with me on my own, don't you, until she comes. I'm answering all these questions dead honest, by the way. I want to do my best. I'm not going to shirk any questions. When are you and Helen getting married? I don't know. I'd need to ask her first, wouldn't I? And she might say no. But I'd like to get married again, because I like wedding cake. So, and a person's asked, has Helen been married before? And yes, she has. She's been married before as well. Yeah, it's up to Helen to talk about stuff like that. It's not my responsibility. And somebody's put, if you and Helen got married, would the honeymoon be in the van? Which I think is a brilliant idea. I don't know how many guests we'd get it back like, but I've always fancied doing the Vegas Elvis Chapel. Wise men say. But, you know, I won't want to spend a fortune on a wedding. But as I said, it's all hypothetical because she might not want to. Done that one. Do you find it hard spending time with your daughter doing van life? Maybe more in the colder months when not as easy in the outdoors. Thank you. I do spend quite a bit of time with my daughter. My daughter, she's 6-year-old and she's a proper little van lifer. So we'll be driving around and she'll see vans and she'll go, so Daddy, look at that van. And I've even had to print pictures off of like diagrams of vans so she can draw patterns outside them. And I've even said like, oh, if you do a good design, we'll have it on side at van. So yeah, she chose the name of this van. It's Dorothy, after Wizard of Oz, which were her favourite programme at the time. But yeah, I get to see her quite a lot. In winter months, it's not a problem because my mum and dad wanted to spend time with her as well, so we'll tend to go and we'll stay at my mum and dad's, or we'll go, mum and dad have got a caravan and that's open all year round, so we'll go there. Or I'll just take her on little trips and stuff. So we'll not be staying in van in winter months. But she loves, you know, when it's nice weather like this, she loves it. She loves going up Stanage Edge and near Higator. That's one of her favourite places. And we sleep up there in van and we'll get up and we'll go hiking. She loves doing the van life. And I do, yeah, I get to see plenty of it. I see her every other weekend. Pretty standard thing for separated parents, really. Every other weekend, half school holidays, and I see her one night a week when I pick her up from school and take her to whatever she wants to do. Usually swimming, gymnastics, that type of thing. You seeing your daughter, or is the mum messing you around? No, completely different story to my son, but with my daughter I get on really well with her mum, so we sort of work with each other. It's really good. How do you make a living now with you stopping the antiques? Is it purely from YouTube? Yeah, I'm 100% YouTube now, and it's crazy to think that I can just get paid to put videos on. Now, don't get me wrong, don't go packing your jobs in because it's not a lot of money. But the thing is, I don't have any outgoings really. I've got my maintenance, food and diesel, and just a couple of little subscriptions and stuff like that. But I don't have council tax, mortgages or anything like that. So I don't need to earn a lot of money. But yeah, I earn money when there's the ads on the videos. You get that. And you get sponsorships. I get contacted loads from companies that want to sponsor me. And I turned a lot down because they want to dictate to you, telling you what you've got to say and stuff like that. And I'll only work with companies that I like, really. So I have got a couple of sponsorship deals coming up, but the companies that I believe in. So yeah, that's how I earn my money now. Do you worry about the future? Yeah, I guess I do. I think everybody does, really. There's a great quote I heard, and it's about anxiety, because I do get a bit of anxiety. I think a lot of people get anxiety in this modern world. Yeah, the quote was something like, anxiety is in the future, depression is in the past, and contentment is in the moment. It was something like that. I'm paraphrasing that, but it's about living in moment. You get anxiety because you're worried about the future, and I do worry about the future. I worry about my kids growing up in the world as it is today. It absolutely terrifies me. I'm scared to death of when my daughter sort of turns, and she's a teenager, and she decides that she wants to start going out. She's not going to be going out hanging on the street, and I know there's loads of dads to this, but there's no way she's going out hanging on streets and stuff like that. So that's why I talk to her mum a lot, and we make sure that she's got loads of clubs and things that she's interested in, so hopefully she'll not be going hanging around. Right, bloody hell, I've just had a bit of a fracas. They were it really upsets me. There was some bloke, some absolute scrot, and he'd got a little lad with him, who was probably about 6 or 7 year old, and the way he was speaking to the lad and shouting at him, just bad language and manhandling him. So just, it's like, it just upsets me. And what do you do? What do you do as a member of public? So I got out at van and I stood and made sure that he saw me watching him, and they sort of stopped then. But then you think, I want to do something more, because like, what's going on behind closed doors? It just worries me. I think, shall I phone police? But police are, you know, he's only shouting at him. I mean, it's bad parenting and that, but you know, you want to contact social services. So that's put me on a bit of a downer. Some crappy scuzzy parent, and if you're watching this, you know who you are. Don't talk to your children like that. Sorry, I'm not preaching, but oh, anyway. Hey James, I was wondering, do you think that you and Helen will ever move in together and do the van life getaway thing on weekends? Yeah, we'll move in at some point. It's complicated, is Helen set up. She needs to explain that, because I don't want to be saying stuff and it's not fair on her. It's not my place to say stuff about her life, but you know, she's got 2 kids and she has to be with them, and it's just a bit difficult with the situation. But I'm loving the van life at the moment, and I'm just loving everything as it is. Eventually we will buy a house. You know, you can't do van life forever, I don't think, and we would like it, not posh or anything, just like a little cottage or something, and you know, grow veg and have chickens and, you know, that usual thing. But we'll definitely, but as long as we're physically able to, we'll definitely be going away in a van. Got something in my eye. What made you decide it was time for van life? Well, that was my first video that I did. So, but I'll just do it quickly. I'll tell you quickly what happened. I was living in a house which I rented, and I lived there. I was a really good tenant, never missed a payment, kept it perfectly well, looked after the house. But whenever something needed doing to it, they never really seemed to do it, and rent kept going up and up and up. And they said, I mean, things were really tight, and I was paying rent and I was working hard, and I just sort of had this epiphany. I thought, I can't ever do all with my kids. I can't afford to do it because I'm paying bills and I've got no money left. So I just want to have a bit of good times, you know, like everybody wants, don't they? So when they put my rent up again, I just impulsively said, you know what, forget it, I'm moving out. And then everyone was saying, oh, what are you going to do? And I just said, I'll live in my van, because I've got this van. So I converted it dead quick, really bodged it and that, but it is what it is, isn't it? And it's all right. So that's why I did it. And you know what? It's the best thing I've ever done. Absolutely love van life. Ah, are you still getting a bigger van? When are you getting a bigger van? And what's on your list of vans to purchase? Yeah, we want a bigger van. We need a bigger van. And we were going all out to find one. But then the sort of channel's really grown a lot. And it started paying me a full-time wage, and we're seeing the possibilities and things like that. And I was going to buy a van and sort of convert it, but that's a really, I mean, it takes a load of time to do that. So it'd take away from me other videos. I'd not be able to do as many videos. And there's loads of videos on YouTube seeing van builds. There's some great ones. And I think, well, can I sort of expand on that? I don't know. So now I'm thinking, do I get a motorhome, like a vintage motorhome or something? So I'm just, it's like this dilemma all the time, and it keeps changing. And to be honest, you know, when you just don't think about it and you keep putting stuff off, because I'm so busy with everything else on channel, and who knows where channel will be in 6 months. If it keeps growing as it has, I could be in a lot better position financially to go and buy a decent motorhome or something. But definitely something's going to happen, because it's all about the travel and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to get. If I were getting a normal van, I'd probably look at like a Peugeot Boxer or a Fiat Ducato, that type, long wheelbase, high roof. I love Iveco dailies, is that how they're pronounced? I love them, but I don't know, they might be a bit too big and they're quite expensive. But yeah, and I love motorhomes as well. I'd love a vintage motorhome, but then I just think it's going to be just loads of problems, isn't there? We saw, do you know what we were going to do? We saw the original Paddy and Max's motorhome for sale. It's a knackered old thing, but we were going to buy it, and we could have made a YouTube thing about it. It were on eBay. It might still be on if you look. So we thought about doing that, but you know, we've just been that busy with everything else. Are you planning a lot of trips during the winter months? Yes, we're planning absolutely loads. We've got so much stuff coming up in the UK and abroad, and we're so excited about it because I'm always getting ideas of what I want to do. I started doing these like little vlogs going to seaside towns, and I know it started off just van life, and when I sort of pivoted a little bit towards travelling stuff, we got quite a few people complaining. I got a bit of flack for it. Oh, it's no longer van life this, I'm leaving. You know, and fair play, fair enough, but if you don't like it, that's fair enough. But what am I supposed to do? I can't just sit in back at a van all the time. That's boring. I want to try different stuff. I want to try different videos. I like the food stuff, and we're really going to do some interesting stuff with that. And we'll just like to mix up the content. If it don't work, it don't work. We can go to other stuff. But, you know, that's where we are. I just don't want to be sat in back in my van filming myself all the time. There's loads of channels like that. So yeah, we've got lots of trips coming up. Exciting. I want to tell you, but it's a secret. You've got to stay tuned. Do you have to keep moving on to different places all the time? Can't you stay in one place for a few weeks, then move on? I do move all the time. You don't have to. And when I were in, where were it? I was Great Yarmouth. There were them guys that were parked up, and they were there for a long time. They've been there months, and I think somebody been there years. But I just move every couple of days. I have got quite a little database of all my favourite places. Some I like better than others, and I'll just rotate around all the time. Now, I'm a bit different to a lot of van lifers because I've got my unit, so I tend to just go to places to sleep. So I'll go and sleep, get up, have breakfast, and I'll go and I'll either be going on one of my vlogs, doing something like that, or I'll be at my unit sort of editing a video, or I'll maybe just go and find somewhere to park up, edit it in back at van. I'm going all over the place, really. But no, I'm never staying in a place longer than two nights. I think 3 nights is probably the most I've ever done. How long term is van life for you? Into old age? It'll not be into old age, I don't think, but I'm loving it, so it's going to be a while yet. I can see at least a good few years me doing this. Do you ever get scared in the van? Right, well, no, I don't, apart from I tried. So, you know, when I went to Clacton-on-Sea, there's a place called Jaywick, right? And it's regarded as the poorest town, I think, in the UK. Now, a few days before I'd done that video, which I didn't think were brilliant, that Virginia Waters, where I stayed in the most expensive place. And I thought it'd be a good contrast to go and stay in the poorest place. So I went to camp in Jaywick, and it was just a disaster because I was parked up, and it turned out there was like a drug deal going on outside at van in middle at night. Well, not middle at night, but it felt like it. And I freaked out, I panicked a bit, so I jumped in front and drove off quick. That's the only time I've been scared. It just keeps going past, and then it'll stop, and doors open, and people are talking right. I'm going to spin camera around, and I want to piss off quick because it's freaking me out. Not scared, but I thought I'm not hanging around here, and I think a lot of that were in my head because I'd built it up. I started making a video on it, but it was a bit crap. It was a bit clickbaity, and I didn't want it to be like that. You know, just, oh, what happened and all that. What was going on outside the van. So other than that, the more you get used to it, I could park up technically anywhere and get it back at van and go to sleep now. Hey James, what would you say are the biggest things you struggle with most on a daily basis living in your van? Love the vlogs with you and Helen. Keep up the good work. What do I struggle with the most? I don't know. You just adapt, don't you? getting showers and stuff like that's a bit crap, because I go to the gym, so you have to go to the gym. But I've upped my body wash game. I've got a good setup. I'll not go into detail, but I can have a very thorough washing back of this van. Well, travelling I'm doing sometimes, and I do stay at Helen's sometimes. That's another thing, by the way. Oh, you don't. People say you don't stay in your van every night. No, I don't. I never said I did. You know, I bet one night a week I stay at Helen's. Maybe once every 10 days or something I'll stay at Helen's. I go to my mum and dad's caravan with my daughter. It's not a competition. It's like, oh, you're not a proper van life because you've not spent 100% of the nights in the van. All right, so just need to clear that up. I spend 99%. I live in my van full time, but occasionally, as a treat, I stay at my girlfriend's or I stay at my mum and dad's caravan. So yeah, that's that. James, moving into van life, has it given you the opportunity to find out more about yourself, and how has van life changed you as a person? Also, finding Helen giving you a more relaxed lifestyle. Meeting Helen has certainly changed me, because I was, you know, I am a grumpy person, and I'm sort of, everyone keeps making these comparisons. Oh, you like Carl Pilkington, which I quite like Carl Pilkington, and you know, it's nice to be grumpy now and then. It's just a middle-aged man type thing, isn't it? But meeting Helen has made me, especially since doing YouTube, has made me a load more confident. The van life has really reduced my anxiety a lot as well, because I think a lot of my anxiety was always money-based, really, about having huge rent to pay and all these bills, and stressing, because as a self-employed person, a lot of you will know, you know, no, you've got to get up in the morning and go out and earn your money, and if it were quiet with business, that'd be really stressful. Then of course I got rid of all those bills. You still have some things to pay, but it eased up the anxiety. I'll tell you what I've learned as well is people I don't know how to articulate this. People are not as bad as you're led to believe. You know, with the media and everything, it's always like dividing people. It's pitting people against other people, whether it's on race or sex or political beliefs, and they're putting people into different things all the time and pitting us against each other. And I think it's like the rich people that want to do that, because while we're all fighting each other, they can go around scamming us and robbing us. And what I found traveling around and meeting more people is that everyone's similar. That people are nice. All right, there's a few nutcases, but people are not. You can judge people easy, and once you spend time with them and get to know them, they're not as like you think. They're just like you. Everybody's got a right to feel good about themselves. Everyone's just trying to make the most of their life, and they've all got the trials and tribulations and everything like that. So we should all unite. We should unite as a human race and bring down these corrupt governments that are robbing us. Anyway, I'm not going to do political. I'm not like an anarchist, or not like that. When are you going to Cornwall? Out of season with its fabulous scenery and beaches. Yeah, I'd love to go to Cornwall. It's just I've never sort of found time to do it, because it's quite a long drive and that, but I will do, because I love it down there. I have been before in my before van life, been on holidays and stuff. I do love it. I will definitely be going down there soon. What did you do with all your belongings? And will you go back to a house, buying or renting one? Well, I've covered that. Yeah, we'll go back to a house at some point with Helen. We'll move in together, hopefully. But that's going to be a long way off, I think. What did I do with all my belongings? I got rid of the vast majority of stuff. And then all the rest, it's just in storage in my unit. But there's hardly out. A few bits of clothes, a few of my favourite ornaments, paperwork and stuff like that. Which... that leads to, I'm going to skip to another question. Without an address, how does one register a van? Do you use a relative's address? Yeah, I use a relative's address. But for deliveries and stuff, because I've got a unit, I can get stuff delivered to that unit. Any more trips overseas planned? Enjoyed the Benidorm episodes. Any plans to go back to Benidorm? Yep, loads of trips overseas coming up, and it's very exciting what I've got planned and what we've got planned. And yes, we will be going back to Benidorm. We'll probably be going back to Benidorm. Maybe it might even just be for a day. I don't know yet, but that'll be before end of year. So yeah, we'll be doing a lot. I love Spain. We're going to be doing a lot more Spain. Hey up, do you struggle to find a day-to-day routine whilst living in your van? If so, is there anything you would change in your routine to make it better? No. I don't know, it's just, when you do something, it just becomes the norm, doesn't it? I don't find myself going around thinking, oh, I'm unusual or different or all like that. I do my work and I sleep in my van, and I love it. It's not, there's not, I mean, I guess I never really had a day-to-day routine before anyway. I'm a bit of a free spirit. I've always winged it. I love winging it. It's just become a thing. Winging it. That's the thing we could do, innit? Wing it Wednesdays. Where do you do a poo? Well, you know, people want to know these questions, don't they? We have got a chemical toilet in the back, but to be honest, we don't really use it. That's just for emergencies. There's a toilet in my unit, so that's handy. But when we're travelling around, Asda and Tesco, I'm more into Tesco at the moment. I used to be a massive Asda fan. In fact, I'm in Asda car park now. But I'm all about the Tesco at the moment. I think the meal deal's better at Tesco, and it's cheaper. Any parking issues recently? No, other than the one in Jaywick. That's it. Hi, I watch all of your vids from Spain, and I was just wondering how you managed to spend so much in pubs and eating out. I don't spend that much. We are quite frugal. You know, you're not seeing... What you've got to realise when you see videos, I'm doing about 2 videos a week. It's like when people say, oh, you're eating fish and chips all the time, you're drinking. You drink loads. Well, no, we don't. But it's just that you're seeing twice a week. We probably drink once a week. And I only have fish and chips once a week. What you're seeing is condensed. And during the rest of the time, I live quite a sort of frugal existence. You know, I'll shop at Aldi. And I'm trying to sort of, I do a bit of that intermittent fasting and stuff. So you're not spending a fortune on food. I get most of my clothes from charity shops. I don't spend a fortune, but that frees up more money to spend on meals and going out and stuff like that. And, you know, I do work, I do have income, this is my job. And Helen has a fairly decent income as well. So, we tend to go Dutch. If the van's rocking, don't come knocking. Any interesting experiences? No. Do you know, right, I might go on a bit of a rant. I think there's a lot of van lifers, they all do this. We found a dogging spot, and I've never seen it like that. It's the same as we got the knock. They didn't. They're putting it on. It's all clickbait, isn't it? I've never had... Watch it, I'll go and get a knock now. But I've never had the knock, and I don't... Do you honestly think there's people going round country lanes and stuff and knocking on vans? Why do they do that? They don't do it. You know, where I stayed last night in the, I forgot the name of it, you saw it at the beginning, Nest Point or whatever it was called. I went on Park for night, and you read all the reviews, and people are saying, oh, it's a good spot, but people were throwing eggs at the van. And a few people said that. Nobody's ever thrown eggs at my van. Is that a thing? I don't know. Maybe I've just been lucky. Any interesting experience? And I presume you're referring to sort of nookie. Any interesting experiences? I don't want to tell you that, am I? I'm going to go into any detail with my fetishes and king. I'm 50-year-old. I'm sensible. And then the last question is flat or globe? I don't know what that means. Flat or globe? Oh, it's Earth, innit? Globe. Get all with flat Earth nonsense. It's a globe. we'll get a lot of conspiracy theories. I love a good conspiracy theory, and I get a loads in comments, but I like them, but there's some complete nonsense as well. So that's your questions answered to the best of my ability. I hope you, if you're still watching, what's up with you? Because this is probably quite a boring video, but I wanted to do it. If I've missed your question, and I do miss loads of stuff, it's really difficult with all stuff coming on the channel all the time, and because you've got Instagram, Facebook, my email, and then you've got YouTube, and you just so many comments and that, and I love it, but you do miss them. So if I have missed your question or you comment or anything, I apologise, I'm sorry. And if you've got any other questions, if you put them in this video, I'll try and answer it best I can. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. While you're watching this, we're off on a really exciting trip, and hopefully we'll have some great footage when we come back. So yeah, I hope you all have a brilliant week, and thanks for watching, and thanks for all your support, and I'll see you there.